So, this is a question that probably doesn't get asked a lot, or you might not think about it that much. Online, there's a bunch of videos that teach you how to make friends, how to socialize, how to be social, how to improve your confidence and stuff. But personally, as I was watching through all of it, all of the stuff, it sounded nice, but there was just one thing that I couldn't wrap my head around, which is like, why should I even aspire to do these things? Why should I be this confident, social, outgoing person who talks to people? And the answer doesn't come easy, because it's a question that like nobody really ever thinks of. Why should I do this thing that most people do normally, but for some reason I just don't have this desire to do it? Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed making friends, I enjoy being social, I enjoy having people to talk to, but why should I go out of my way to further improve these skills, these social skills, my confidence, my relationships? Why should I put in the extra effort that it takes to take that stuff to the next level? That's something that most people don't talk about when they make social skills videos. They just tell you how. They just tell you what. They don't tell you why. So in this video, I want to kind of share with you my reasons for why it's important to me, and I want to help you reflect on your reasons why you should be doing these things. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you actually don't want to do these things, which is fair. You can have your own opinion, but I do believe it is in your benefit to actively try to improve your social life. So, I grew up with, I'm not trying to diss them, but my family, they're not going to deny it, we're a bunch of introverts, and they are more shy than me. I used to be the kid who didn't say anything. I was very quiet. No. When I was a kid, I was very talkative. When I was like a teenager, that's when I stopped talking. And then now, once I'm an adult, I had to relearn all the stuff. No, not relearn, unlearn all the stuff I learned as a teenager in order to become social again. And I'm not saying I'm this super charismatic person who can go up to a random stranger and strike a conversation, but if I had to, I probably would be able to. So yeah, I grew up in this family where we didn't really socialize much. We didn't really we did go to church, and we have our church, and we have friends there, and we would spend time with them. But to go out of our way to spend time with them, to go out of our way to make plans, to go out of our way to it just was something that didn't happen. I grew up in this household where the culture is, we're all introverts, we're all shy, we all don't know how to talk to people, and we all joke about it with each other. It's self-deprecating. And when I grew up as a teenager, I accepted it because that's what I felt like. But now, as a young adult in my 20s, early 20s, it's something that I've tried to break free from, because it's not what I want anymore. It's not who I am. Thinking back to my childhood years, being social was something that I really, really loved. I really enjoyed it. And to have that trained out of you is something that kind of hurts. And it starts in, there's a separate point, but it starts in the education system where I remember I was, in first grade, I was, a good kid. In second grade, I was just considered too talkative. I was talking too much with friends. My grades were kind of suffering because of it. But I was in the second grade. What do you expect from me? I was just talking and having a good time and making friends. And I suppose it did become a problem where my grades did drop a little. Growing up with parents who are concerned about grades, but then again, not too concerned. Just having, as long as you were passing or having good grades, they didn't really care. But when I had low grades, that's when they cared, and that's when they punished me for being social. So I grew up kind of being punished for being social. Not in like this direct kind of way, but just in like this, the culture I was surrounded in was kind of antisocial. And that's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody, but in order to move on from this, in order to grow and develop my social skills, I would have to take my own steps to put myself out there. And maybe you find yourself in the same situation where you're surrounded by family and friends who aren't really social, and they're self-deprecating about their social skills, and they it just becomes this meme where where it's normal to be socially awkward and autistic. Like you can be a Ryan Reynolds type of guy who doesn't talk to women or whatever, but yeah. Like I get that's a joke, but at what point does it stop being a joke when people actually are kind of like that? Look, I can get not talking to girls because you don't want a relationship, but just not talking to them at all in general, that's the meme. And I hope that's not what actually happens, but yeah, it is what it is. So, I grew up in, yeah, you know my story now. I grew up in this culture, kind of antisocial awkwardness and stuff. So, what was the reason why I had to escape that? Why did I have to, like, why did I push myself to escape that kind of life and to go outside of my comfort zone, honestly? So I grew up in this culture of antisocial awkwardness, that's what I'll call it. And it wasn't until pretty recently in my life, like a couple years ago, where I met somebody who changed it all for me. And I know that's like, I I didn't really bring myself out of this situation completely on my own. I didn't break out of my shell on my own. I had somebody on the outside picking away at the shell, helping me out. Just like sometimes a bird is stuck in their shell and they need outside help from the bird parent to get them out of their shell. So that's what happened to me. Like I had somebody who taught me a lot about love, people, social skills, and that person had a big impact on my values. And and it was after I met this person, and you know, I began to realize how important like being social actually was. Because for this long time I was in this like numb state where like I didn't really care. I did care, but I had to pretend like I didn't care because who would address my real concern growing up in this, family. I hate to, I really do hate to like brag on my family. I'm trying not to, but it's something that when I grow up and I have children, no, not when I grow, when I have children, I kind of want to make sure that doesn't happen again, which is like, we're gonna talk to each other, we're gonna eat dinner together, I'm gonna make plans for them with their friends and stuff so that they can understand how important and how human it makes you become. So yeah, I suppose that's one of my reasons why you should become better at your social skills, is because it turns you into like just a better human. And it's not about right or wrong, and it's not about doing evil or good, but I can only describe what happened to me, which is like the difference between me in my shell and me outside of my shell is it's insane. If you had said that this like 2 years ago, you told me that I would enjoy talking to people about like subjects or talking to random people and asking them stories and spending time with people one on one, and I just wouldn't have believed you at that point, because I did not enjoy socializing at all. Because, they're just like, you do hang out with, friends and some people, but there's always something missing there. And I can never figure out what that was. Yeah, this video is going to be a lot of rambling. I apologize, but I'm telling you my story because I want you to understand that I don't, like, you don't have to come from a background that is super social and super outgoing to be social and outgoing. You just have to unlearn a bunch of behaviors that you have learned. And it really, 99% of it is in your mind, in here. So yeah, something I'm realizing is that when I grew up, I never really encouraged to share my own thoughts or opinions, and that probably had a huge impact on me growing up, because that meant that I just never learned to verbalize what I was feeling or what I was thinking. And a lot of social skills is about that. It's about not having a complete, formed sentence in your mind. You're just saying what you think, saying what you feel, letting the other person know. And that's a huge part of connecting with other people. You can't perfectly formulate everything, and you can't put on this mask of like everything's normal, everything's fine, everything's good. Sometimes you tell them how you feel, or you share with them your real opinion. You disagree with them, and that's something like I could not imagine disagreeing with somebody and sharing my opinion right in their face like 2 years ago. It just was not a thing for me. And it wasn't because I didn't have a different opinion. It was just that I didn't see a reason to stir the pot, in a sense, because it would, it could start a fight, which is, it's probably not true. It doesn't, like, disagreeing with somebody doesn't start fights. It doesn't start arguments as much as you think, as long as you do it in a respectful manner. I have no idea where I'm even going with this anymore. I lost track of my thought, but yeah, today I just wanted to talk about my reasons for socializing and my backstory. And I hope that maybe you will reflect on your own experiences, and you will consider why you should go and improve your social life, improve your social skills, reach out to people, and do all these things. Get out of your comfort zone. Do all these things that you know what to do. The YouTube videos tell you what to do, but you don't know why you should do it. You don't have the motivation to actually go and do these things and to change who you are, what your life is like. And I'm not going to give you those reasons, because these are reasons that we have to find ourselves. And to me, it was something that was always kind of innate. I just had to unlearn all the antisocial behaviors that I kind of grew up being taught. And that's to blame nobody. Nobody's at fault here. But in order to get what I wanted, I had to do it myself. I had people's help, but I had to socialize by myself. So I hope that makes you consider really socializing and improving your social aspect of your life, because it brings a lot of joy to your life, and it makes everything in here a lot clearer once you can talk to people and socialize and really share how you feel, and it makes you feel so not so alone, and that's something that's really good for you. Yeah, in a world of loneliness where so many people struggle with it, the loneliness crisis, male loneliness epidemic, people aren't dating, I just hope that you will somehow find that personal reason to go out and socialize more. And I hope it's not like like a reason out of spite or resentment or something, but if it has to be that for now, then I guess it can be that for now. But ideally, it would be something like it just enriches your life, and you want to enrich the lives of the people around you. Yeah. So that's it for this video. I don't know exactly what I was trying to say, just like trying to. Yeah, I'm a broken record again at this point. Thank you for watching this video.